Krishna Krishna Hare Hare
Hare Rama Hare Rama
Hare Rama Hare Rama
Rama Rama Hare Hare. Last week we had gone through the preface to Bhagavad Gita, basic introduction of the overview of Bhagavad Gita, and this week we are scheduled to go through the Bhagavad Gita, basically the first chapter and the preface to Bhagavad Gita, introduction. Anyone got a chance to go through some verses of Bhagavad Gita? Could read? Okay. So again, request is to read Bhagavad Gita, verse by verse, chapter by chapter. Then we will get a more clear idea. Before that, I came across one nice verse in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. I want to share. This is about the glory of the holy name, or the benefits one gets by chanting. It's a very nice verse. We'll chant this together. You can say Krishna mantra haite. This is Bengali. Krishna mantra haite. Habe samsara mochana. Habe samsara mochana. Krishna nama haite. Pabe Krishnera charana. Krishna mantra haite. Habe samsara mochana. Krishna nama haite pabe Krishnera charana. Simply by chanting the holy name of Krishna, one can obtain freedom from material existence. So this speaks about liberation. Correct? So the basic philosophy of Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam is that we are entangled in the cycle of birth and death. Having come from the spiritual world, we are stuck in this cycle. Punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, punarapi janani jatareshanam. So this is the problem where we are stuck, and the goal of human life is to attain liberation from this cycle or salvation. Krishna mantra haite habe samsara mochana. One is liberated from material existence by chanting Krishna's name. Krishna nama haite pabe Krishnera charan. Indeed, simply by chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, one will be able to see the lotus feet of the Lord. One gets samsara mochana and one gets Krishnera charana. And incidentally, I was also reading who is Dhanya. Dhanya means who is blessed, who is a blessed soul. There are two verses about the purpose of who is Dhanya. Okay. Sankirtana. यही जना कृष्ण देखे सही भाग्यवान. One who is able to see Krishna, he is bhagyavan. Bhagya means opulence, who is lucky or fortunate, who is यही कृष्ण देखे सही भाग्यवान. And धन्य means is संकीर्तन प्रवर्तक कृष्ण नाम श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य. संकीर्तन यज्ञ तांड्र भजे सही धन्य. So Lord Chaitanya has appeared to distribute the Sankirtan movement, and one who is able to worship the Lord through Sankirtan. In Kali Yuga, the way of worshipping Lord is through Sankirtan. Okay, and the person who is able to worship Lord through Sankirtan is Dhanya. Jaya Jaya Mahaprabhu Sri Krishna Chaitanya. Jaya Jaya Mahaprabhu Sri Krishna Chaitanya. Tanhara Charana Shrita Sai Bada Dhanya. One who has, okay, we will chant this. Jaya Jaya Mahaprabhu Sri Krishna Chaitanya. Tanhara Charana Shrita Sai Bada Dhanya. So one who is, Lord Chaitanya again has Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who has taken shelter of his lotus feet. he is really Dhanya, he is most fortunate. So this sloka also speaks about the same thing, that simply by chanting holy name, Krishna mantra haite habe samsara mochana, Krishna nama haite pabe Krishnera charan. Namavinu kali kale nahe ara dharma. In Kali Yuga, actually there is no other dharma or religious practice other than holy name. We cannot really study Shastras. Shastra Adhyan, language study of Sanskrit and detailed Shastric study is not impossible but very very difficult. It requires the samskara training from the very childhood. Correct? One has, before studying Vedas, one has to study 6 Vedangas. Vedangas are the Vyakarana, the Nirukti is the dictionary, Vyakarana, Nirukti and Jyotisha. Then there is Kalpa, Shiksha, Nyaya. Kalpa, Shiksha and the Chandas, meter. How to pronounce the Vedic mantras. Kalpa is the how to perform the rituals, the different mudras and all. Kalpa. Shiksha is the different religious procedures of Yajna Yaga. And Chandas is the meter in which it is chanted. Sometimes long, sometimes short. Correct? You have seen the Brahmanas chanting Om Purusha Suktas and all. So, and then we have studied Vyakarana, Sanskrit Vyakarana. There are 3000 sutras in the grammar. 3000, more than 3000 sutras, formulas, like grammar formulas. Studying them, then we have to practice applying those principles. So it's not really that easy or that possible. But what is easily doable is Nama Vina Kali Kale Nahiyara Dharma Sarva Mantra Sara Nama Ei Shastra Marma. So the holy name, chanting of holy name, which is the essence of all hymns, is the purport of all scriptures. So like this, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given a reference from the Puranas that how holy name is the only way. Harer Nama eva kevalam. You can say this. Harer Nama eva kevalam. Kalau nasteva gatiranyata. So it is repeated 3 times. Harer Nama eva kevalam, only Harinam. Kalau nasteva gatiranyata. So this verse we should also memorize this beautiful verse. So throughout the scriptures, the sara of all the scriptures is, in Kali Yuga, the only way to practice religious principles is through chanting of holy name. And at the same time, we should also have some understanding of Shastras. So one observation is, human is an intellectual being. We have curiosity to learn things and explore about what is happening around us. In fact, the DRDO, the IISc, these are institutions which study into the higher sciences. Of course, there is also, this is more specific towards how it can be applied in for defense forces, armed forces, one thing. But pure science study is also going on parallelly. Apart from this material or what is visible to us, Jada, there are 2 vastu, Jada and Chinmaya vastu, Jada vastu. So more of studies happening about the Jada vastu, about the different phenomena that are happening in the world and energies, how to convert that energies. These things are good activities. But what is missing, what is not studied is the Chinmaya vastu, the spiritual energy. And that's why it said, the point where material research ends, that is the point where spiritual study begins. All of our the sciences that we are presently under study mostly deal with Jada vastu. Even astronomy is also in a way Jada vastu only, because we are studying the grahas and the planetary system. But Chinmaya vastu is the spirit, the spiritual soul and the journey of the soul. So that is where the study of Bhagavad Gita begins. There is also a nice comparison that what all we study and what are the subjects that related. The 5 elements, earth, we study about geology, chemistry, these are study of the earth matter, the earth. Fire, we have thermodynamics, then electricity, these are the fire. Earth, water, there is a whole study of water, then hydro energy, all that. Earth, water, fire, there is thermodynamics. Fire, air, there is system about lot of study of air, the phenomenon of air and the whole energy connected to air. Then earth, water, fire, air, ether. Ether is sound, and space, sky, space, ether. Final thing, that is mind. We have psychology. We study about mind. Intelligence, IQ, how intelligence is applied, intelligence, intellectual power. Then there is ego. Ego is the identity. Identity. I also told. What is the definition of ego? Ramesh Prabhu? Any classical definition I had given.
Where spirit soul meets the
Is the what?
matter.
Is the
The
junction.
junction point.
The false ego is a junction where spirit touches matter. How? I am this body. This body is not mine. But when, as a soul, if I touch this body, if the soul touches this body, means if I identify with this body, it becomes mine. I, as a soul, has nothing to do with this body. But when that I, the soul, touches this body, it becomes I identify with this body, myself. When I, as a soul, touch this my place of birth, Karnataka, if I touch my ego spirit to identify with this land, I become Kannadiga or Indian, correct? With the soil. If I identify with certain family, I belong to that family. Whichever it touches, that's called as false identification. That is very less studied, but there is some. Also nowadays it is part of psychology, more or less, correct? Identification, psychology, ego, they say, my ego, this ego, and that. But most of our sciences end there, and that's where Bhagavad Gita, study of Bhagavad Gita begins. Correct? So we discussed the 5 topics of Bhagavad Gita. That is the Ishvara. Anyone remembers 5 topics of Bhagavad Gita? Ishvara, we can repeat. Ishvara. Next, Ishvara, Jiva, Prakriti, Kala, Karma. Ishvara is the Lord. Shall I say again? Ishvara,
Jiva,
Karma. 5 topics. Any book speaks about something, right? Any books, you can, most of the time, if you read the title, you will get to know what is in the book. If I say thermodynamics, it's about heat and energy, correct? Electronics, or if I say about any topic, you can get an idea of what is happening. So Bhagavad Gita is a book which talks about 5 topics. They are Ishvara, Lord, Jiva, living entity, Ishvara, Jiva, Prakriti, Kala, Karma. 5 topics is what basically is discussed about in the Bhagavad Gita. So maybe the narrative is that of battle. It begins on the pretext of Lord Krishna trying to convince Arjuna about the necessity for the battle. It was not just about killing the opponents in that battlefield. It is about the principles on which this battle has to be fought. Arjuna was, in the very beginning, was even willing to forgive also, because seeing his relatives, kith and kin, his mind changed. He didn't want to really fight, but Krishna made him fight. So in another place, Prabhupada writes, Bhagavad Gita is basically a advice or a guidance given for us to get into action. Many times we want to withdraw from action. So this is basically, the soul has to be active. Soul cannot be inactive. Can you sit idly for a long time? 1 day, 2 days, I'll give you food, water, everything I'll give. But don't do anything. Can you just do that? Sit. It will be boring. Some slow sleep is a luxury, but if you sleep too much, it becomes a pain. Correct? Sometimes imagine you have a long holiday, 2 days of holiday. 1 whole day you sleep, then whole body starts paining. Body is not designed to sleep. nor is it designed to work. If you stretch yourself too much, keep the eyes open, just see amazing what this small, like 1 inch, 1.5 inch eye has such an impact on the body. It looks very funny, right? Very not a great logic. Just by closing the eyelids, whole body gets relaxed. Agree? Just by keeping it open, life becomes hell for a long time. You'll put the entire body to rest. Lie down like anything, however comfortable you are. Lie down as much as you want, but keep the eyes open. Will you get refreshed? What do you think? You'll get fresh by keeping the eyes open? No, whole body starts paining, burning. Body heat increases. Body heat increases by keeping the eyes open. But the same eyelids, if you close, the whole body becomes refreshed. See how beautifully the body has made. And how the body grows. These are young kids. Slowly, without their knowledge. Do you have any control over how our body grows or diminishes? We just have to feed it and wait and watch what will happen. Correct? Do you do anything to become stronger, bigger? Nothing we can do. Just see how amazing it is. We have to sit and appreciate the Lord's creation. We just keep feeding the baby, gradually the body grows. And without doing anything, body also diminishes as time ages. That's why it said, every year there are 700 soldiers of time, Kala Purusha. In the Bhagavad is mentioned. We are fighting 700 soldiers opponent us. So 360 days, 720, 360 days of day, 360 soldiers of day and 360 soldiers of night, day and night. Day is 360. According to Vedic calendar, a year is consisting of 360 days. 365 is English calendar. But basically, we count even the lifetime of Brahma, we count as 360 days only. 30 days per month, only 30 days. Because of the calibration, we do 5 days extra they count, but it is effectively only 360 days if you see the Vedic calendar. So Kala Purusha has the soldiers, we are fighting those soldiers. And with each fight, our life is reduced by half a day. That is the cycle. And there it mentioned how aging happens. Aging happens not by a jerk. We don't get a jerk. I am from babyhood to childhood, from childhood to teenage. Did you get a jerk? Without our knowledge, our body ages. We don't even feel the jerk. It is like a overnight system update. You switch off your computer and go home. By the time you come back, there's a backend update. It has already happened in the system, correct? So we don't even know how the body changing, how things are turning around. That is the beauty how the system works. So how the whole body itself is a universe inside us, how it is gradually changing. And Bhagavad Gita and the Vedic scriptures is simply a call to open our eyes and see what is beyond just our everyday life. Nowadays, I feel sorry that whole system of education and so-called learning in the workplace, outside the workplace, is mostly connected to earning livelihood. Do you agree? These kids are taught all that is required to earn a livelihood. They are in the middle. They say, look at the outside world, but it is only again connected to the Jada Vastu. Correct? So nobody is allowed to think about the soul or the higher aspects of life. That is the missing point. And Bhagavad Gita teaches about the finer and subtle points which are not in the Jada Vidya domain. So in the chapter begins with Dhritarashtra's anxiety towards his sons. We know the Mahabharata story, how there was a lot of partiality towards Pandavas all along. Of course, Dhritarashtra was the elder brother, though he was elder brother, but he was born blind. That was the mistake. There were 3 sisters, Ambika, Ambalika and Amba. Three sisters. So the the Bhishma kidnapped Bhishma. That was allowed that time, kidnapping the girls for marriage. It was there. So he brought the 3 girls, for marriage. But Amba, one of the girls, was already had made up her mind to marry
Salva.
Shalva. Shalva. That was she was in his mind, Shalva. So he was brahmachari, but he had brought these three girls for marrying his brothers. Correct? Chitraketu and Vichitravirya, two brothers. For they were the sons of Satyavati. So for marrying them. So Ambika and Ambalika were married to the Vichitravirya died. He died. Because he was very powerful king, very powerful and great warrior. And there is another Gandharva by name Vichitravirya. And he didn't like the idea of someone with my name being greater. Also there is a competition. He was killed in the battle. Then only Vichitravirya was left. So he brought these three girls for Vichitravirya. So Vichitravirya accepted. But Amba said, I want to go back to Shalva. I can't marry because I already made up my mind. And Shalva was also ready to accept. So she told Bhishma, I cannot marry, take me back. Ambika and Ambalika were married to Vichitravirya. And Amba was taken to Shalva. Shalva said, how can I accept her? She has already been touched by another man, she has been kidnapped, she was already taken for marriage. I cannot accept her, I will not take her. So Amba could neither marry Vichitravirya nor was Shalya willing to accept her. Then Amba told, you have to marry me. Because Bhishma was the one who created all this disturbance. There was so much of her life became jeopardized. Then Amba told, but Bhishma told, I cannot, because I have taken a vow of brahmacharya, I cannot marry. Then she went to Parashurama. She went to Parashurama, saying this is the conclusion, Bhishma is not willing to marry. So there was again confrontation between the Parashurama and Bhishma. But it was Parashurama respected, honored the vow that Bhishma had taken. That's why to take revenge against Bhishma for having jeopardized her life, she became Shikhandi. And she also,
next birth.
yes, she does some austerity and they become Shikhandi. And then she becomes instrumental in the killing of Bhishma. But actually it was not killing of Bhishma. Bhishma cannot be killed was because he had a desire of Ichamara. So he was not really killed. What happens in the Mahabharata is a context that while the battle was going on, a direct confrontation and confrontation was informed confrontation. It's not that you can't just go and bomb anybody. So Saudhan, they used to inform the opponent that get prepared to fight with me. There is no backstabbing, not allowed. They used to inform the opponent so that he is cautious, he is prepared to fight. Then the fight begins. Fight would begin like that. And among the elders, whenever Pandavas would fight with any of their elders, first they will leave an arrow at the feet of the elders. If Arjuna is fighting Bhishma, he will shoot an arrow which will fall at the feet of Bhishma. So that means he is offering respects to Bhishma Dev, refers. And the elder would shoot an arrow above the head of the younger, above, just over his head. That's a blessing, okay. This is a respect and that is a blessing. That is also that. Even interestingly, what we call present day as party defection, jumping from one party to another party, was there that time also. Yudhishthira, before the battle began, Yudhishthira makes an announcement that we are about to start the battle. If anybody wants to change party, swap or go to other side, you can do so now. And there, one of the brothers of Duryodhana, the foster brother, not his 100 brothers, is the son born of a Vaishya. Another woman joins that party and Duryodhana kills him first. Duryodhana himself kills his own brother because of having gone that side. And I think the first casualty was Uttar Kumar, the brother of Uttara Kumar. So though there is some Vengya in his name in our Uttara Paurusha we call him. He was a warrior, but he was not really, he was boasting himself a lot. In Kannada now also he says, no? Uttara Paurusha. Only boasting, I will fight like this, I will smash them, kick, but when you are on the battlefield, he start shivering. He couldn't really fight. Then what is his name? Brihanala fights. Who is Arjuna? He fights and defeats all. That is the first confrontation. After there, Ajnatavas. That's another story. So there is again debate of we found them before Ajnatavasa ended. That Muhurta when they found out. Because the doubt, it's also an interesting story. The whole purpose behind attacking Virata was the whole what caused or what made Kauravas attack Virata was the killing of Kichaka. You know Kichaka story. Kichaka had tried to entice or molest Draupadi, and Bhima killed her. And there was a very urgent cabinet meeting called in Hastinapur about after they heard that the Kichaka was killed. In that assembly, there was serious discussion that on the face of earth, very few people are competent enough to kill Kichaka. Very few. It's not anybody's task. Kichaka was a dusta, very what you call mischievous fellow. But Virata, and he was the brother-in-law of Virat Maharaj. Correct, brother-in-law. He was the brother of the queen's sister, queen's brother. But he was being entertained because as long as Kichaka was in the Virat region, nobody would dare to attack Virata. He was a powerful but mischievous fellow. So that's why they had to entertain him. But when he tried to chastise or tease Draupadi, it became expensive. He was killed. Then there was this discussion that only few people are able to kill. Maybe Duryodhana, Karna, Bhishma and Bhima. Just a selected few. And rest all, other than Bhima, were sitting there and they saying, I didn't kill. None of us killed. Then it has to be Bhima. So Bhima is very much there in that region. They are there. So let's attack and find them out before, so that they have to go another 12 plus 1 if they are found. So the Muhurta was their argument that whether they finished the Muhurta or not. Finally, it was declared that they had completed that Tithi of the one complete year. One of this thing that in disguise, Ajnatavas they completed. Okay. So what I was saying, there was all along we see that there has been partiality towards the Pandavas all along. So though Dhritarashtra was elder, but he was born blind. That's why he was not given the kingdom. And his younger brother Pandu Maharaj, Pandu was given the in charge of the kingdom. But with time passing, he was not really much interested in the military, administrative, political activities. So he went to the forest to practice austerities and live a mendicant life. So there we also saw how Pandu Maharaj passed away, and Kunti, Madri took the funeral pyre. She took Satidahan, and then Kunti brought the sons to Hastinapur. And from there we saw this constant partiality towards the Pandavas. And Dhritarashtra's case was, I was the eldest son, I didn't get the opportunity to rule over the kingdom. So my sons at least should get the opportunity. And there was competition of who will deliver the first child, because that person will naturally become the first king. So Kunti and Gandhari were carrying pregnant at the same time. So they were eager who will deliver the child first, the son first. And by destiny, Yudhishthira was born first, and out of frustration, Gandhari punched her her belly. So because of that hitting, a lump of flesh came out from her womb. And what to do with that flesh? So that was, Vasudeva was called there, and he split into 100 pieces, and they were placed in ghee pots. After some time, the test tube babies came out. That is the power of ghee. It can give life. So they were born, and when Duryodhana was born, lot of donkeys and vultures were making the noise. They were screaming. That is the omen that this person will be cause of a lot of misfortune. He said, whenever there is heavy natural disasters like Ativrishti, Anavrushti, volcano, earthquake, it's an indication of a very extremely mischievous or extremely dangerous personality is taken birth. That is the indication. So when Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha were born, there was rains of blood. Rains of blood and a lot of pestilence, natural calamities were seen. And when his sons were born, Dhritarashtra's sons, we could see the same moment. But nevertheless, he was more always affectionate towards his sons, headed by Duryodhana. He would never, though he was advised against it, Vidura advised, even Akrura. Akrura was sent from Mathura by Krishna to check out what's happening. So there's also a narrative. Akrura studies the situation in Mathura, in Hastinapur, and informs Dhritarashtra that this is not right, what you are doing. This is not be a good idea. So please refrain from being partial to your brother's sons. Yeah. So please don't be partial to your own sons. There Dhritarashtra replies, I understand what you are saying, I agree with what you are saying, and I also know that Krishna does not like this. But I am helpless. I cannot give up my affection towards my son. So whatever destiny has it, we'll go with that destiny. So he was all along very much fearful, and we know the immediate causes why the battle was scheduled. There was an attempt after the Ajnatavasa was completed. Yudhishthira Maharaj sent a messenger to Hastinapur asking for his claims. It was agreed that what was theirs has to be given. Though it was a great politics there also. The Duryodhana was given Hastinapura. Hastinapura means the city of elephants. Hasti, Gajapura. It is full of elephants everywhere. It means very opulent, extremely opulent city. Very, very, very opulent city. And what was given to Pandavas was Khandava Prastha, forest land. This totally dry, vacant forest land. Just take it. They couldn't protest. They had given barren land, nothing, forest land. But by Krishna's blessing, that Khandava Prastha became Indraprastha. To be matched only with Indrapuri. Indrapuri is Amaravati. Amaravati is extremely opulent city. Amaravati. Where is Amaravati? Amaravati is on the tip of the Meru Parvata. Correct? Meru Parvata is the axis which is the central point of Jambudvipa, or this Bhumandala. Bhumandala, around the Meru Parvata there are 7 islands. And in the middle is the Meru Parvata. At the tip of the Meru Parvata there are 8 offices. 8 offices. Indra, Brahma, then Varuna, Surya, all the principal demigods who are, even Shiva also, there are offices. In that, Indra's capital or the office premise is called as the Amaravati. It's on the top of there's extremely opulent city. So Indraprastha it is so well developed that it is equal to Indraprastha. And that's where Yudhishthira Maharaj performs the Rajasuya Yajna. And having seen the opulence and so much of wealth, this fellow becomes envious. The problem with envious people is they have enough. They have more than enough personally. But if they see someone more than them, they become jealous. They can't tolerate the opulence of others, even though they are quite opulent. That is the problem. So they don't have to be very poor stricken or very. Sometimes a poor man can be non-envious. He's happy with what he has and happy for others what they have. But the envious man, even though he has a lot with him, he cannot see others being more opulent than him. He becomes envious and he tries making devices to cheat them and send out. Okay, now when the Duryodhana sends the messenger, Yudhishthira sends, he rejects. Then Krishna personally comes, give them at least 5 villages. They are Kshatriyas. They are not. They cannot become Brahmanas. They cannot become Vaishyas, Shudras. Let them give 5 villages to you. But he would say, not even a place to like place a pin. A needle. Yeah, suji mane means the tip of the needle. How much space is required to pierce it? I will not give anything. And that evening, when it was finalized that a compromise is ruled out, Krishna goes and meets Kunti Devi. And Kunti Devi, Krishna informs that battle is inevitable. There Kunti Maharani tells a point. At last, my sons are getting the opportunity for which the Kshatriyas take birth.
Right.
She's a Kshatrani. See, look at the courage. Usually mother becomes anxious. Oh, battle won't happen. What will happen? They are 100. My sons are only 5. No, she was not saying. She was very happy that it is scheduled. This is the day for which Kshatriyas take birth. And I'm glad that at last the battle is scheduled. Then it's on the battlefield. So the narration is about what happened on the battlefield. And through that narration, making Arjuna the instrument to ask these questions. Because Arjuna was put in a kind of anxiety and a kind of dilemma that should I fight or not fight. So Krishna made him. It's not Arjuna was a devotee of Krishna. He knew the knowledge of Shastra, but Krishna put him in that situation so that we get to hear. That's why the purpose of Bhagavad Gita is to deliver mankind from the darkness of ignorance. And Bhagavad Gita has the knowledge which is the essence of all the scriptures. And Prabhupada writes, whatever knowledge is there in all the other scriptures is there in Bhagavad Gita. Additionally, what is not there in other places is also there in Bhagavad Gita. So a complete study of Bhagavad Gita will give us the complete knowledge of all that is there in the scriptures. So with this I will end. The previous week I had spoken about something what is called as administered. What is the meaning, bro? What did I say? Who else was there? It's a very important point I had told. It's about, I had spoken about a commitment to do a administered completion of Bhagavad Gita. It's called the mother administers medicine. You heard this word, expression? Administers. Medicine is, the child will not take medicine. But what do you mean by administer? You heard this expression in English? The mother administers medicine. Means mother gives by force. The mother ensures that the child takes its medicine. So mother administers the food to the child. So we have to do a self-administered completion of Bhagavad Gita. Because unfortunately, I asked, my question was, how many of us have completed all the 700 shlokas of Bhagavad Gita? Complete study of Bhagavad Gita. Huh? Correct? To be honest, it should have happened by now, right? It should have happened. Any Hindu, any Sanatan Dharmi who is follower of Sanatana, if you ask any Sanatani, what is your Shastra then? What did you study? Nothing. Correct? Muslim would have gone through his Quran, the Christian would have gone through his Bible, the Sikhs would have gone through Granth Sahib, at least once. We are the most, what you call, unattended, what you call, followers of any dharma. Correct? At least in terms of studies. It's a very correct proof. So it's not fair. These kids, they have to be administered, at least for now. If they start, and sometimes they should be complete. All our children must be given a compulsory dose of at least once full study of Bhagavad Gita. So with this I will note. So all of you, now you have to self-administer. I cannot force. It's not this session is only to help if you are interested. Correct? We cannot force them. We cannot call each one and torture them. Where are you? Why you are not studied? It's not, doesn't work like that. After a certain age, crossing, nowadays it's much earlier. After a certain age or everybody, the only person who can tell you that you are wrong, the only person can tell you you have to do some things is yourself. No one else can even tell us. Will it help? Others telling us will not work. You have come all this along because you wanted to come this way, this far. Correct? It's not possible. So we can only request that you please consider this commitment of self-administered completion of Bhagavad Gita. For that we must have a copy first. So Prabhupada's book is there. All of you have a copy? Have? Ghar pe? If you not have, okay. Okay. Mataji, you have a copy? Okay. Ramesh Prabhu, note down. Prabhu, you have? You have? Prabhuji? Yeah. Prabhu has? You have? You have? Okay. Prabhuji, you have good name? Rakesh Prabhu. Mataji?
Ansu. Ansu.
Ansu.
Ansu.
Ansu. Ansu. Okay. These two. Okay. Prabhu, can you ensure? Do you have copies here?
Yeah.
We can give right away. Huh? Make sure that you collect your copy. Because without copy, how will you read? Okay, please collect one copy of Bhagavad Gita. It's up to you to complete, because I cannot force you any further beyond that point. Does it make sense, Prabhu? Once at least go through once Bhagavad Gita is a fair thing. Correct. So next week you please start with the first chapter. You can do other things, introduction gradually also. First chapter at least up to 10-15 slokas you read. Can you read and come? 15 slokas, we will get into the verses straight away. I was held up very badly today. So next week 7:30 class will start. 7:15 we will be here. 7:30 we will whether we will not wait for any reason. 7:15 we will start kirtan, and max by 7:30 we will start class. Yes, bro. First 15 to 20 slokas I will cover. It's not much, just storytelling. First chapter is just about introduction to warriors and all. We can do easily. We can cover these topics. Purports are nice. Interesting points are in purports. Very important. And having said that, this is amazing wealth of knowledge. It gives us all the elementary knowledge about spiritual knowledge. One study. So we will appreciate as we go through the verses. I'll stop it. It's time for prasad. Okay.